Hi, this is Michael William Denny of ThunderShamanism.com, and today we're going to be talking about another installment in the series Secrets of Shamanism, the Path to Spiritual Mastery. So today we're going to talk about the lower self. Now, as we explained in previous videos, there are three selves. When the universe was created, it was started from, somebody wants to call it God, before the Big Bang. There was that one point of everything, where everything existed. There was no time and no space. There was just all of eternity in this one tiny little centimeter. The Big Bang, it exploded, turned into the three ones. The three ones became the five elements. The five elements created all of the infinite, everything that exists in the universe. So today we're going to be talking about the three ones, specifically the lower self. We've got the upper, the lower, and the middle self. The lower self is in the navel center. And the navel center is the repository, most specifically, of the unconscious and the subconscious mind. It also is the same location where we have what's called the Dantian in the Taoist tradition, which means the cauldron from which all the power comes from. Now, it's an incredibly important area. But we're specifically going to be talking about the lower self and why this is so important. Talked about the upper self. The upper self has the blueprint to your highest evolution, to your godhood. And in order for that godhood to be manifest, the lower self has to project it. We've talked about how the universe is really just a projection, a three-dimensional projection. It's not real. And the job of the shaman is to wake up in this dream and to realize that it's a dream. Just like that's what lucid dreaming does. You wake up in the middle of a dream and you realize it's a dream, and then you control it. We got to do this while we're awake. We wake up and then we can control it. I talked about my girlfriend who was astonished that whenever I say I want something to happen, all of a sudden it happens, a week or so later, and it boggles her mind. I go, oh, and I realize, well, it's because I'm a shaman. I've been working at this for 20 plus years. So the lower self is incredibly important. The reason why most of us are asleep is because our lower self is dominating us. And the lower self meaning specifically the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind means you are not conscious of it. Your unconscious mind is controlling you right now. So your unconscious mind you are not aware of at all. And this is why we call it unconscious. One of the things that a shaman does is he becomes a master of psychology, because he becomes aware of his unconscious patterns and begins to shift them and change them. But he does more than psychotherapy, which is to sit around and examine, what's in the unconscious mind. He uses tools and he uses life force energy. That's why celestial qigong is so important. In order to change reality, you have to have power, and that power is life force energy. So click on that. Get that. That's the first thing you need, is to be able to control energy. From there you can control your three selves. The lower self, the subconscious, the unconscious mind. Subconscious is just below the level of conscious awareness, and all of your PIN numbers, where you grew up in high school, your first girlfriend, or your first kiss, and all that kind of stuff. That's in your subconscious mind. These are very important because these are the muscle through which we project our reality. Now, until we clean out all of our unconscious garbage, until we change all of the false assumptions that have been put into us when we were hypnotized by our family and our friends and our society and our church or whatever, to believe that this dream is real, until we work through a lot of those false assumptions, we don't have any power to change our reality. So we have to do that, but we do it through ritual. This is why Vedic astrology is so important, because we need to know what planets are influencing us, which elements are influencing us. We need to know what syllables we can use that are most powerful. The ones that work for me are not going to be the same as works for you. But if you master Vedic astrology, you can figure all that stuff out. Figure out what your perfect spiritual name is. These are some of the things that are all connected to the lower self. The lower self, if it is not cleaned, if it is not aligned, if it is not empowered, it cannot project, and you will not have the power to project it. But if you get the power, if you learn how to align yourself, if you use shamanic ritual in a scientific way, it's a science, and you understand this science, you can recreate yourself. You can learn what the blueprint is that you gave yourself before you were born, and then you'll be given the power to be able to manifest it. So There's a bigger connection. There's the upper, the lower, and the middle. But before I do that, I just want to remind you, I am looking for 5 apprentices. And from those 5, I'm going to pick 2. 2 people that I'm going to teach everything that I know. And that's my karmic duty. I have to teach somebody everything that I know. And I've learned from multiple traditions all over the world. And I've learned how to take what is most important from those multiple traditions and boil it down into one unified, concentric package that has the most important things to make you a god. That's what this is all about, turning you into a god. Believe it or not, even if you're not a Christian, which I'm not, but Jesus said, don't you know that you are gods? You're a god. That's the whole point of this. You're going to become a god, and you're going to be able to manifest your perfect reality that you created before you incarnated. So I'm looking for apprentices who want to learn that from me. So again, click on the 2 links below, get Celestial Qigong so you can learn how to get all the power necessary, and then click on the apprenticeship link, and then I will work with you 1 hour a week, either by phone, Skype, or in person, every week for as long as you want to work with me. And from that, I'll get the 5, and when I get the 5, I'll stop taking apprentices, and from that, I'll get the 2, and from those 2, I'll teach everything that I know. So until next time, we're going to talk about